Stan, what's up, man? Amazing, dude. I'm guessing you watched the live yesterday, Stan? If you did, let me know. Pretty sure you did. But I'm just curious, did you watch it while it was live? Okay, so I'm gonna get into it. I'm not gonna see that. So I'm headed to a bike shop right now because I was about to change my tire for the EX30. I have an 80/90 on there, and I didn't like the knobby tire that it came with, and the knobby tire was not a tubeless. Now I have a tubeless 80/90 Michelin Street 2. They call it a PS2. I like it. I don't love it, and part of the reason I don't love it is because it's a tubeless. I have a tube in there, so it's a lot heavier than I would like. And the reason I have a tube in there is because when I got the tubeless from wherever I got it from, E-Rides, I believe, I didn't have the stem to put in the rim, so I ended up having to use the tube. And also, so yeah, I never really raced it. I just rode it really fast, but I always felt like this thing felt sluggish. Even though it's a 50E, 9.5 amps output, continuous, I felt it was a bit sluggish, and I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't put my finger on it until I realized, wait a minute, I have the tube in this thing, and the tube plus the weight of the tubeless, I mean, can definitely run this thing slow, right? And a little bit heavier. So the amount of drag is pretty much, you know, more than what the tire by itself would produce. So I need to remove this. So I ordered a tire from E-Wheels, a Sherman L tire, because I wanted to try different tires. And I looked at the Sherman L tire and I'm like, interesting, people love the Sherman L. This tire looks a little bit boxy. Why are they loving the Sherman L's tire? And I think it's because when you put the tire on the rim, it then begins to like create that curve that I like. Because when you buy the tire, it's actually right here. It's flat at the bottom. So I'm like, okay, how is this gonna work? All my tires are pretty much rounded from what I'm used to. I haven't really ridden any more powerful wheel than the EX30. So I know there are some really strange profiles out there. So now I'm headed to this bike shop, which I called already. I called ahead of time. I'll be heading to them to help me replace this. Let me show it to you guys. Hold on. Oh, the light is green. So guys, see, sometimes, you know, having a car is important depending on where you live. If you don't have a bike shop next to you, you're gonna have to drive, or if you don't have an extra wheel. I mean, what was I gonna do? Carry this wheel with me? Because sometimes it's beneficial to have a car. But yeah, I'm here to talk about the Inmotion P6, and really, I think the best thing about the P6 is how small it looks. It looks a lot smaller than the V13 for sure. The V13 was a monumentous achievement. Let's not, you know, take that away from Inmotion. It's just their execution for that wheel was not that great. It was the same thing. They did the same type of promotion. They did the same type of, I don't think they did the same type of tests. That's different for sure. I think bringing in racers from the US, especially those that take it seriously, is part of R&D. And apparently we know that Inmotion cares about R&D a whole lot. And part of R&D is not necessarily just sitting in a lab and testing the specs and then outputting something that looks great on paper, right? Let me take a look again, because I don't want to make the wrong claim here. I want to see what voltage it puts out. Is it 200? I believe it's 200. Let's see. Inmotion P6. Actually, let me just ask you guys. What's the output of the Inmotion P6 real quick? Real quick. What's the Inmotion voltage? 200. What? I thought it was 200. Okay. So I wasn't really paying attention, I guess. 235? Is that true? Can someone else verify? I'm driving. This is literally an impromptu. I didn't prepare for this. Okay, so 235. All right, cool. So generally speaking, when I ride wheels and I did reviews in the past, I never really concerned myself with voltage or, you know, amps, output, continuous. I never really paid attention to that stuff. Even though it's the most essential part of the wheel in terms of its performance or how it's able to perform overall. The thing is, back then, during the time of the EXN, the high-speed MSP, and now the EX30, what's important is knowing those, you know, those power out or the ratings, the voltage, the power output, the the continuous current dissipation, etc., discharge rate. And that's important now. It was important back then, but the difference between back then and now is that back then you didn't really have riders that were pushing units so bad, so hard that the technology couldn't keep up. Because right now you can, these guys, we as a group have been pushing wheels like crazy. More so the racers, they've been pushing wheels insanely, right? Crashing them, cutting them out. Overheating the phase wires, I mean the motor itself, to the point where Inmotion, Kingsong ended up coming out with temperature sensors for each cell, for each pack, so, and the motor especially. So I look at the V13, and it's not that it was a bad wheel, it was just the execution of it was strange, because the way they did it was purely on paper. That's what it seems like to me. Okay, this time around, they did a little different. They did it a little, actually a lot different. This time, they brought riders. They brought racers, not just riders, racers, because, you know, I think you'll get more data from a racer than you would a rider, because a racer tends to take wheels to the max, right? So we have 200 volts, 235 volts, and someone do the calculation here. Let's do a comparison real quick. I have the EX30, and when the EX30 came out, I recently just reached out to eWheels. I wanted to see if my demo wheel was the only one that had the 50E cells from, you know, apparently all the EX30s have 50Es. And so that's an additional reason my wheel felt a little sluggish. Now, don't get me wrong, racing on the streets is very different than racing on a track. A track is very different. See, on the streets, you get to stop at lights, you can go quick bursts and chill out because of traffic, etc. But when you're in a track, you're constantly pulling amps, power, okay? You're constantly pulling crazy power. So that characteristic of the wheel is going to be extremely different, very different. So let's do a comparison real quick. We know, obviously, that the EX30 is a lot less powerful than the P6 just off the rip, right? So let's say my EX30 is 134 volts, and let's multiply that by power equals V times I, right? Yeah, so power is voltage times current. So somebody do it. The 50S, so we have 134 volts, the 50S outputs 25 amps, continuous. My EX30 outputs freaking 9.8, and that was so sad. I mean, when I looked into it, because here's why I thought of it. I went on a ride the other day. So do that calculation real quick. Let me see if somebody does it. So do like 235 times 50. I'm sorry, 25. 235 volts times 25 amps. And that gives you the power, which is in watts. So do that calculation real quick. I'm driving. I can't really do it. And I can't do it in my head. I mean, I could try, but I want a number. No number. All right, let me do it. Let me see here. Let's see. sure I know where I'm going. Yep, it's right here. Okay, so we got, where's the calculator? Oh, there it is. Okay, so we have, I mean, obviously I know it's more powerful, but 235 times 25. So that's, you know, that's, oh my gosh, that's 5,875 watts, right? Or 5.8 kilowatts. So if we compare with my EX30, which is 134 times 9.8, that's 1,313, right? So that's more than 3 times or so powerful than the EX30. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, the point is, at the end of the day, if you're riding on the street, it almost doesn't matter unless there's no traffic. If there's traffic, then it boils down to the, you know, the ability of the rider to maneuver around traffic. But the other day I went on a ride with a guy who's only been riding for about a year, and he had the Sherman L. And dude, I've been in a lull for like a year, almost 2 years, and I haven't been paying attention to wheels. But now that I'm slowly coming back, I'm like, whoa, what the frick is happening? Technology has increased so wildly. So he's on his Sherman L, and we're on, like, you know, VFW Parkway, which is a beautiful way to ride, man. And he just pulls out. He just leans and the wheel is gone. And I'm like, now obviously we weren't racing, but I was giving it a thought. I was like, man, how was he able to pull out so quickly? What the frick happened? Like, he literally looked like if he had leaned a little bit more, the wheel would have like spun in place. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at it and I'm like, that was just me not riding fast. Let me just pull up to him. So I pulled up to him, like easily reached 50 miles an hour. He pulls up, and we're both at like close to 45, 50 miles an hour, you know, during different phases of the ride. And I think close to like 48 or something, he just pulls out again. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? This guy is heavier than me. And obviously there's a reason, there's reason to think that a heavier rider can definitely pull out faster than you, because he's heavier. By nature, he should be able to generate more acceleration with that much skills, because he's heavier and he's on a wheel that's capable of pulling out a lot of watts. So then after that, when we were done, I didn't even attempt to race him. I was just like, okay, that was kind of strange. I'm not gonna try to race him after I see that kind of acceleration. Nope, not even gonna even think about it. And so we just enjoyed the ride, and you know, we rode nicely, obviously. But I couldn't help but think about that acceleration I saw on the Sherman L. And he wasn't even trying. It's, you know. So I went home and I looked up the battery of the, actually I looked up the specs of the Sherman L, and it was like, holy smokes, this thing is, I think 150 volts. And it had the 50S, and the 50S is pretty wild. It's the latest technology out there for EUCs and other PUVs. And so I just did a quick comparison, and his wheel is, you know, 2.5 or so times more powerful than mine. And that was eye-opening. So out of nowhere, I was like, what the frick is going on? What? Now, I still got him beat in traffic in terms of like being able to maneuver, which is great, but if any stretch opens up, this guy's gone. I'm like, whoa! The Sherman L? Oh, no wonder people talk about the Sherman L. Now I like the Goat because I like the power delivery of the Goat. It's like a BMW, and the way BMW delivers its power is just fascinating. I mean, granted, you have a Porsche, right? Let's say you have a Porsche 911, and it's obviously more powerful than, like, say, an M3, right? 911 Turbo S versus an M3. It's just the way the BMW pulls. It's just crazy, man. It just feels like it holds you and it brings you with it. You know what I mean? And you feel that exhilaration that you don't really feel in other cars. It's really a driver's car, and that's how I compare Begode, is because Begode tends to have that insane acceleration. Doesn't matter how powerful or what level the wheel is. It doesn't matter what it is. It just feels that way. It's kind of like a Honda Civic. You know the Honda Civic is really slow, but you feel how active the motor is just by being in a Honda Civic. So you could, while you're in the Honda Civic, you feel like you're doing 50 miles an hour when only you're doing 30. It's just the acceleration factor that the Goat is able to capture in their wheels. With Sherman L or Leaprecam in general, I've only had the chance to ride the Sherman S and maybe the Lynx a little bit, but nothing crazy. And what I felt from the Sherman or the Leaprecam in general is their power delivery it's not aggressive as the Goat, but it's definitely smoother. Okay, the power delivery is just a smooth thing, and it's immediate. But the Goat's immediate too, but the Goat is definitely aggressive. I love it. But Leaprecam is a little bit more smooth. It's nice, you know what I mean? It feels more fine-tuned. So then I said, you know what? Let me call eWheels or text them. So I emailed eWheels and I said, hey, can you tell me what battery my demo wheel has? And he goes, it's the all EX30s that he sells or sold or sells has the 50E. And then another thing came to mind. I went to the Electrify Expo in New Jersey last year. Was it last year? I don't remember. I think it was last year. And there was show there. There was some other guys there, fantastic riders. They were racers. They're freaking great. And I went on the track. Now, obviously, I hadn't trained, but I wanted to go. So I did go. And, I mean, it was abysmal. Like, the way I was riding was terrible. But it didn't matter. I had fun. But what I went there for was to see how these guys race. And Show had the exact same wheel I had. And I was, like, scrutinizing his wheel. I'm, like, looking at it. And I'm like, what does he have in there? Don't get me wrong. The dude is a great rider. We're not discussing that. We're not, questioning that. What I am questioning is his wheel. And so I'm looking at the wheel. I'm looking at it. He has the same tire as me, PS2. I'm like, how is he doing this? And I couldn't put my finger on it. It's EX30. But then I was like, wait a minute. This is Show. He works for Alien Rides. Clearly, this dude did something to his wheel. And on the surface, he did nothing to the wheel. He parked it, I looked at it, up, down, around. I couldn't see anything that he modified externally. So then my assumption with why he was able to do so great on that EX30, number one, is because he probably has those cells in there. He probably has the 50S. I mean, I can't explain it any other way. I just can't. So yeah, I contacted eWheels and I said I would like to know how much it will cost to replace the 50E with the 50S. Because I love the form factor. Why don't you just get a new wheel? Not really. I like the form factor of the EX30 because the form factor is it's short, and the center of balance is exactly where I need it to be, well below my knees. It's just perfect. And if all I need to do is upgrade the cells to a 50S in order to get that power, close to the Sherman L, because the Sherman L is a tall wheel. It's very tall, and I'm not a fan of that. But the EX30, I feel like, among all other wheels, is probably the best in terms of its center of balance and weight distribution. So if you look at and that's why I give credit to Inmotion for the P6, because the P6 tends to have that low profile. And one of the complaints I had when I used when I did my review on the V13 and rode it, is that it was just too tall. It was just a tall wheel with not enough battery. Why would you have such a tall wheel with such, mediocre battery? And it made no sense. And so every single video I've watched of people from Marty, I compare the lowest to the highest, the best to the greatest. And Marty was riding the wheel after the event or during the event, and he created his own video. And I watched it, and I just wanted to see how he would react, because it's a heavy wheel, and Marty's an elderly man, so the way he reacts to it will tell me a lot. And he wasn't struggling with the wheel at all. Like, not at all. And it was his first time on the wheel. And when he came to the light, I was like, interesting. This guy is not struggling with the wheel. So Inmotion clearly aggregated a lot of feedback from people and was able to, you know, implement that in their wheel. Now, obviously, they won't be able to make a lot of changes with their wheels because the form factor is the form factor. It is what it is. If there are going to be any updates at all, it's going to be firmware wise. But what I'm trying to say is that wheel at the moment on paper does appear to be you know, the king of wheels, because, you know, there's a video of these guys when they were doing their testing. They were climbing up a hill, and I watched it closely, and, you know, one of them actually torqued it on the hill. So you know how you lean into it to climb a hill? This guy literally torqued it while he was on, so he wasn't gradually going up the hill. He literally torqued it, and the wheel spun in place while he was on the hill. I'm like, holy smokes! And and you can literally see the smoke come from the rubber burning. So I'm like, this is awesome. So I'm here now, but yeah, this is the wheel right here. Yep, I love this wheel, man. It's freaking great. And to all of you who who might say I lost in New York and I don't deserve it, well, you know, it's here. So yeah, this form factor is the best form factor for me. And what I'm trying to say is Inmotion seems to have a similar form factor where it's shorter. It's a shorter height, and that is going to make all the difference. It is wide. It is wide. Somebody did say that on the live. It is a bit wide, but we'll see how that turns out. You know what I mean? So let me see. Let me see some of your comments. Hold on there. I got to switch, guys. Hold on for a second, man. I got to take this thing out. I got to take this thing. See, the thing is, I'm literally parked in a no stopping anytime spot. So hold on for a second. Hold on. What's interesting is this guy goes, hey, you have the bike, right? You're going to bring the bike down? So I'm like, damn. I hope he doesn't get like all turned off when he sees what it is. All right. Let me just bring that in there. You guys, I'm going to put you guys in my pocket a bit. Hold on. Hey. Well, the thing is, I can pull it out, and all you have is the rim.
Did you follow?
Yeah.
A rear flat?
No, it's not a flat. And you're not taking off the tire. I just need the rubber out.
And I thought you were grabbing the tools for
Yeah,
mine.
exactly, yeah.
Why is that coming in?
Because I might need you to do it.
That changes the whole game here.
Hey, how you doing? Nice store.
That changes the whole game.
Wait, where's the tool?
We don't work on these.
No, you don't. I understand. I completely understand. Huh? Oh.
Yeah.
My car's not that important, right? Oh, are you cool? Hold on for a second. Yeah, so I knew he was going to be all weirded out by that, but that's okay. Let me school him. Let me cause him not to be all worried. Hold on for a second. All right, so I understand your frustration. Trust me. How are you doing? Thank you for taking my call. My hands are dirty. All right, so
we work by appointments only here, so I thought you were coming. I was going to go here.
See, that's the problem I had. This one, it's not going to work. And I mentioned the metal one.
Metal, yeah. I spoke to you on the phone.
Yeah. So let me run you through it real quick.
Okay.
So once I take this out, it's just like any bike tire.
Okay.
And I just need the rubber in here out. That's it.
But it's because we don't work with this because this is a tubeless tire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we don't work with tubeless tires here. So this is above our.
So okay. There's a rubber in here. Is it hard to take it out?
Are you talking inner tube?
Yeah, the inner tube.
There is a tube? I thought you said it was tubeless.
Yeah, it is. I just had to put the tube at the time because I didn't have the stem. I just recently got the stem, so I just need to replace it.
So this is still on that rim?
In my car.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll do that part.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
Because we can't have you do it here, and we just don't have time to do it this morning.
Understood,
Customers
understood.
coming in, wanting to demo, leave this floor clear. I'm more than happy to take the call and give you a tire tool. That's as much as we understood it to be
Yeah.
until now.
Do you have that tool by chance?
Are you talking about a longer tool?
Yeah. For leverage.
And I don't even know if you got the clearance to get the leverage that you need.
Right here.
Okay. Do we have metal ones that I mean, we make
Let me-
one, but it's not a personal tool. We don't have any for sale. So,
I have the good park tool ones that we can't give away.
right, show them what the tool looks like, find it on Amazon, order it on Amazon, and then you're empowered to do it on your own. But yeah, we need to keep our tools, especially the more professional ones,
Yeah.
in the shop.
Understood.
So these are our middle park tool ones.
Oh, okay. So that's
Now these are, I use these instead of these normally because these damage the rim. I can give you these right now.
okay.
Yeah, those thicker tools.
How much are those?
Those are.
Oh, this feels better than Walmart. The Walmart ones are really plastic.
Yeah, those are. Those you can have both.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we just can't do it right now, and we just can't
Oh,
do it
okay.
right there.
Okay. I guess I misunderstood you. I thought I was gonna use your tool because you couldn't give it away. You meant this one. You couldn't give that one away.
I bet. I bet you'll be able to get it if you move the tire down from the opposite side and then pry it. I
Yeah.
think you'll be able to get up to those.
Yeah.
One in it, go for another angle.
Yeah. I really appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Sorry to confuse.
Sorry to confuse you. For the
Yeah.
tools though, we do a 5-star review.
Of course.
I got nervous. I didn't know what you were bringing out of your car 'cause I didn't know you're crazy.
Oh my god.
Now I see this thing that you ride around. I know.
You know I'm crazy.
I know you're crazy.
That's hilarious.
He's got it on his shirt.
Yeah, that's a company from like.
That's not you promoting bad behavior.
Bad behavior. Why would you say that?
I'm envious of you. Now, how many times have you
I can't
fallen?
even get on his Twitter, so.
Oh, okay. I mean, I haven't fallen recently, but when I first started, I fell a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, how we doing?
Do you guys do tune-ups?
We do, yeah. Regular we do. 125. That's gonna cover the whole bike.
I'll bring it back.
No, the chain would be our plane.
The plastic one is good play.
Alright.
Metal
You
one.
can do bring it in as well.
Okay.
If we work by appointment only,
I think we do it too now.
you have to leave.
Yeah, it's just I didn't have them.
What is, I mean, we don't know. If without
I appreciate it.
If you do have to
Derek, Diane. Nice to meet you. I'll come back again. You might have something I need.
But I need to fire.
I need to lock.
And it didn't damage your floor, okay?
I kind of wanted to.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Hey, have a good one, brother. Any other jobs that are open?
There. Wow. Okay, so I guess that was a little confusing for them. Man, they acted like they saw an alien. I'm human, guys. I'm human. I swear. I'm not an alien. Oh my gosh, that's funny, dude. So when I pulled up, am I saving for the P6? No, I'm not saving for anything. All I need is to upgrade my wheel to 50 SLs and I'll be ready to go. If there's a wheel I'm gonna get right now, it would be the Commander GT Pro, I think. I'm considering that, or the Blitz, maybe the Blitz. Thing is, guys, I don't have a lot of money, and even if I did have a lot of money, I still wouldn't get it, because what I like to do typically is wait for certain things to come out, like issues. I like issues to flush out. Once issues, then I can go ahead and purchase a wheel. That's been my method since I started EUC riding, is I would usually wait for, like my Tesla, when the Tesla came out, I waited for version 2, and so far, I mean, when the amount, that wheel, I never had a single issue with that wheel. But the first Tesla that came out had various issues with the shell. It was too weak, etc. I'm not sure what the other issues were, but mostly it was the shell. And we didn't have pads back then, so, well, we didn't use pads back then, and so whenever you dropped it right on the shell and it would crack. Nowadays, you drop your wheel anywhere and it falls on the pad, so you have some type of protection inherently. So no, I'm not, to answer your question, I'm not saving up for the P6. Shout out to anybody who does get the P6, but I'm the type that will wait and wait for everything to flush out and then consider it. I believe there's an event, thanks to Sensei Vegan, there is an event in New York or New Jersey where the P6 will be demonstrated. So if that's the case, I would like to go, and I would like to take it for a test ride in order to experience this thing. So what about you guys? Who is planning on getting the P6? Who in here is planning on riding and getting the P6? What about you? And you? And let me ask you this. So a lot of people, right? I notice a lot of people ask questions like, hey, what kind of wheel are you getting? What kind of wheel are you getting? Here's the thing. I mean, how many of you guys are racers? If you're a racer in the chat, type R. Type R if you're a racer in the chat. Whether that's street racing or track racing. Both are the same. They're the same to me. They're different types of racing, but you know, there's a lot more street racers than there are track racers, because you know, these events happen only a few times a year. So if you're a racer, type R in the chat. Okay, so no racers. Well, we only have like 5 people in the live right now. But if you're watching this on replay, please type R in the comments on the replay. So my point is, there aren't many. I mean, there are many racers, gosh. But what I'm saying is, compared to everyone else, I think they're more street racers than track racers. And so for that reason, I don't think there's a real reason to buy the P6 unless you live in like a rural area where you need the range. Then I could understand that. Yes, I could see that. Someone who lives in a like a rural area, and you know, just to grab milk, you'll have to drive like 10 miles. I understand those type of people, because I have a friend that lives in Air, Mass, and the nearest like grocery store is at 5 miles away. I'm like, holy smokes, dude. So for that reason, a high capacity wheel makes sense. But in general, no. I'm not interested in the P6, but I'm interested in driving it. I definitely am interested in testing it out, just to see where the technology is right now, because it seems crazy. It seems crazy. 235 volts. Wow. Pretty wild, man. At the end of the day, it comes down to the rider, guys. Yes, it's a powerful wheel, but it's just imagine someone in a Porsche and he really doesn't know how to drive the Porsche on the track, you know? So we've seen many of these videos where people have powerful cars and they end up crashing them because they don't know how to handle the power. It's the same. But the good thing is, if you're not someone who's into power, but you love the wheel, man, you're gonna have a lot of range. You may never have to charge ever again. Maybe once a month if you're just an average rider and you love that Inmotion P6, dude, you might never have to charge again, ever. Because like I said, the one difference I like compared to the V13 is the form factor. It's just a lot more compact. A lot more compact. So let's see how it turns out. Let me read some of your chats, and then I will end the live. Those guys were nice, huh? They let me have these. I really didn't have anything on me that I could use to remove that tire. I thought they were just going to help me remove it, but apparently not. But these are really strong. These are plastic, but they feel like metal. So really tight tube remover. Anyway. Okay, Stan. They sure did. Yep. Compared to all flagships, it's a win. Not a fan of the cost, but it's expected. This is UC Chronicles. Stan says, I think the 1 year promise, if not decreasing the price, what happened with the Panther was a L. What happened to the Panther? I haven't been keeping track. Stan says, yeah, the price is steep, but looks within the flagship margins. Stan, what sold me was the Voltron of the best community riders. That's true, yeah. If Huge Ride was there, I would have flew to California and bought it. I would like to try it, man. I really would. Thanks, Stan, for the 235. Adam U, I paid $4K for my V13, and then they turned around and decreased the price to 20 because they saw right away. I mean, their marketing for the V13 was similar. The difference is this time around they have crazy awesome riders that are tested. And one of the guys, I think it was Brian, or maybe another guy, I don't remember, but they mentioned that they were able to, I guess they rode the wheel so much and tested it so much that I think they had like 150 different updates, you know, for every issue they found. They had to fine tune, and so they had to release a new build, and I think they had 150 plus updates, firmware updates to that wheel. So that's the difference between designing something on paper to spec and then handing it out to someone who, you know, UAT testing, basically user acceptance testing. So user acceptance testing is really what, if this wheel ends up being a win, you would have to give it to these guys. You know what I mean? The racers. The 1 year promise. Okay, so we talked about that. Stan, I would agree, but in the tech world, a year is huge. We go to Libracam will close the gap in a year. Meaning the P6 will have the crown for 1 year max. Anyway, Adam U. Tech just changes so much indeed. In a year, we all know the Goat and Libracam will come out with their own P6 killer. I just hope that they don't do that at the expense of, you know, our safety, just to keep up, you know what I mean? I think this was a common theme with this year because of the tariffs. UVs came elite because of the L. In my opinion, Stan says, in my opinion, Bigode's existence hinges on them upgrading their quality. The stage was set, I'm sorry, the stage has been set with Libracam. So let me ask you this, in any of, did Libracam win in any of the recent races? You know what I mean? It's still Bigode, right? So still has that going for it, if that's the case. Stan says, I started with Bigode, but once I touched the V13L, I felt ripped off by Bigode. Really? The V13? You felt ripped, you mean in terms of quality? Because the V13, yeah, that was not a good buy, in my opinion. Mert Cartel, hey bro, you're very handsome. Really? Thank you. I haven't even cut my hair yet. At least not shaped it up. Stan, 112, 115 pounds for the P6 weight option. I don't know with the weight. Stan, with that weight, it is preferred for high-speed grip or unnecessary trade-off. Thanks. EV roller, are you saving up? No, I'm not. EV roller, in motion and issues come on you will be fine. Okay. Roy Wren, the P6 set a wrong price. If they are selling for 4K, they can double their sales. I think they dropped the price from $499 to like $4,200. That's what I heard on someone's video. Ali Dugley, homie. EV roller, nope. In my opinion. Stan, in my opinion, Inmotion release a race wheel, potentially. They have, at this point, I mean, they can only go up, right? So it's very interesting. I think now Inmotion is literally the one setting the pace for a change. That's pretty funny. I'm a beach cruiser. There's no way to cut that wheel out. Really? I don't. Well, Coogee Rolls rode it for several miles continuously at above 60 miles an hour, and he was able to overheat it. So I think what you mean is there's no way to cut it out initially. Okay. Stan, did you get the P6 drop invite? If you mean the live, I saw their video and I think I got it on Facebook. The Grandeur Life, the wheel is insane. NGL. The Grandeur Life 5K is not for the average customer. I don't know. If you have credit, you can get anything, man. So, yep. So, guys, I'm gonna end the live. Let me know what you think about the P6. Obviously, you guys are all loving it. You just, you know, questionable about the price. But I just hope, you know what? Hope is not a strategy. Let's not hope. My expectation is that the wheel is exactly what we saw from the rider's review. You know what I mean? So, in my opinion, it looks like a win. In my opinion. That's everybody's opinion right now. And I agree with it. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be a win right now. Maybe how wide it is, but other than that, I love how short it is compared to the V13. That's freaking awesome. Now, the weight might be another reason, but the shortness might make up for that. You know, the height might make up for that. So there are a few minuses that I can think of right now, but nothing drastic that's a showstopper. Or yeah, or would prevent someone from getting it. So anyway, peace out, guys. Where are the service stations located? As far as I know, right now it'll start in California. That's what I've heard, is that California. So maybe they'll have more. Take care, guys.